Alright guys, so we have some big news about the Oscars, which I wanted to make a video about because I feel like this is going to be controversial, you can say, because of my opinion on the topic. Black Panther does not deserve an Oscar. It does. Another effects maybe, or special effects, does not deserve a Best Picture Oscar. The way they are doing this, and Black Panther was a good movie and a great movie, but it wasn't good enough for an Oscar. There's other movies out there, same format, there's way better films. And I'm not taking anything from Black Panther, and I'm not being racist here, but if you want to be factual, the reason they got the Oscar is because the Academy feels bad for like not having black categories or like demographic audience. Now, I don't think that's the case. Honestly, I mean, that's the Oscars case, I get that, but I don't think that. I think I'm nothing against it. There's movies out there. Honestly, last year I thought Get Out deserved an Oscar. So I have nothing against the different races or anything. It's just that I don't believe Black Panther was good enough. If that's good enough for an Oscar, then Infinity War should have been nominated for an Oscar. Creed, Creed last year should have won. Or been nominated like 2 years ago when it happened. There's certain movies, and I think the reason they did that is to make fans more happy about what's going on. But I honestly don't think that that's a good idea. I think that I have nothing against Black Panther. There's something about a category they may do that has like all these like some kind of films like superhero film, like films are just like good at box office and fun films and like not serious films. And Black Panther had a good storyline, but I think the reason it did so good at the box office is because all the people made all this about it. Honestly, Black Panther, in my opinion, I don't think it's really about movement. I think it's just a movie. You can tell some parts maybe was a little bit at that, but the audience made it like it's a big fan. Like, if a white person says Wakanda forever like that, it's like, oh, you can't say that. Like, it's a good movie, but it has nothing to do with. It's mostly I feel to do with like how the earth is and how the world is, and they say like all the like he mentioned all the ancestors. I mean, I guess you kind of see the racism in that, but you could say like, oh, all my ancestors died. Killmonger said, but same time, I think they were going for everyone. If you look at the film in this way, everything that happens to they say that happens to us too. It's not just one-sided. And I get it. They're trying to make a movement out, and there was a little bit of a movement. I admit that there was messages behind that, movement and equal rights, and I agree with that completely. But they went overboard when they decided to. Start making a big whole thing about it. News format saying, "Oh, this is like race." No, it's a movie, and honestly, if we had not had the internet. Like, this movie is good itself. I tell you, if it did not have this whole movement behind it, it would not have been an Oscar-worthy movie. Now, I do think Black Panther has really good acting. I do think the cast is amazing. I do really enjoy Killmonger and Chadwick Boseman. I enjoy Michael B. Jordan. I enjoy the movie, and I enjoy the topics they're going for. But at the same time, people are really over-dramatic, making it over-dramatic than it really is. And that's why I got nominated for an Oscar. And you may hate me for saying that, but Black Panther does not deserve an Oscar. If Black Panther deserves to be nominated for Best Picture, so does Infinity War. Even though I think Next to Glass should, even though doesn't have the best reviews, it's a good film. Fuck critics. Half the critics can suck a dick because they don't know what I'm talking about. Halloween 2018 should have been nominated, like the original. See, so like the only reason it's nominated is because of all the controversial stuff happening before it and behind it. That's the only reason Black Panther is nominated. Because there's other films out there that you can not even see like no problems with that deserve an Oscar. Every film has problems. For example, Halloween 2018. That had a little bit of problems, but it was a good film. I did not see anything wrong with it. The critics score was amazing. The reviews were amazing. And we have a lot of horror people, but now it's like there's no big movement behind it. And the Oscars or trying to make up for something. And the Oscars are trying to make everyone feel like, oh yeah, we can do that. Black Panther deserves an Oscar, but not for Best Picture. If he's not, if they are nominated for Best Picture, Infinity War should be in that category. Okay, Assassination Nation, which did not do really great at the box office, but it was a good film and highly rated. You don't see that film going, and that film was a controversial film because of the stuff behind it. It did not make a lot in the box office. Neither did a lot of other films that won Oscars before. Like Shape of Water, I don't think made a lot of money, and that won an Oscar. So, like, movies that really don't blow up. So, you put this movie in, when there's other movies, you want to be factual, if I'm correct, Infinity War blew the out of Black Panther in the box office. And I really enjoy Infinity War with Black Panther. And I do think that if Black Panther shows an Oscar, so does all these other films. And this is like kind of the bullshit the Oscars are pulling. I am not racist. I have nothing against this stuff, and I get why they're doing that. But, and this is controversial, but people make all these big deals about, I get it, African American demographic, they've been through a lot. And I'm actually sad about that. They should have never gone through that stuff. I think it's screwed up. I think everything that happened to the demographic Americans shouldn't have happened to them. They should have not been through that. And I'm actually very sad that happened in our country. Okay, I think equal rights should be everywhere. But at the same time, you don't know what you guys, yeah, we've been through stuff too. So everybody's equal. Everyone should be treated the same. And that kind of happens. But it's different. You can say like, oh, it was an experiment. This guy came up to people. He said, Black Lives Matter, right? It was a black guy, and then everybody was like, yeah, that's what's up. Then he put a sign. Then the white guy came up and said, all lives matter. And then people started flipping out. All lives do matter, and I get what happens and stuff. But there's two sides. It's not just like, oh, this happened to this guy, doesn't happen to us. We've had that happen to us, but it's covered up by the media a lot, because a lot of the stuff is going, and I have nothing against that. I do feel, honestly, there's a lot of movies with the African American demographic that deserve to get an Oscar. I mean, Creed, that deserved an Oscar. That was an amazing film. That was up there with Rocky 1. I enjoy Rocky 2 the most, but I was up there film on par. I don't see anything wrong with Creed, pretty much. That was like almost a flawless film. You have all these other films too, like I get a Moonlight one, and that was a fine film, but Get Out deserved an Oscar, okay? And it got screenplay, which is very, very awesome for a movie to do. And I don't like the Oscars. The Oscars do stuff that think doesn't make sense. If they cared, Kevin Hart made tweets my voice was cracked. Sorry, Kevin Hart made tweets years ago that somehow it's like a bad idea. How many people have made tweets that are controversial? And I bet you half these Oscar guys who run the company, I bet you half the directors in the whole world, I bet most of the directors in the whole world have said something sexual and just they ignore it. This is what's wrong with the whole thing now. I love the internet. The internet ruined everything. If we didn't have the internet, I bet you Black Panther wouldn't have been nominated for an Oscar. There was a bunch of other films that deserved it, and I have nothing against Black Panther. Again, I'll say that. I love the film. I love the story it was trying to tell. But if it did not have, and they had I see a little bit of the black movement and how they're trying to do that. But at the same time, I don't think that was the full plan. I think the plan was for just have a message, but it was a small message, and then people turned it into like a whole big thing, which shouldn't have happened. And if you want to call me, nothing I said was racist. Nothing I said was inappropriate. Nothing I said was going to make me look like racist. I am not racist at all. But all this shit that's happening, it's like honestly really pissing me off.